Outer Rim News with Austin Gordy, Ray Snedeker, and Ashley Wilbanks.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Outer Rim News Show. Today we're talking about, or we're going to catch up on the Mandalorian because we hadn't talked about it since episode 1 and there's been 4 episodes since then. But before we get started, let's introduce the whole cast here at the Outer Rim News Show. Ashley Wilbanks. With me as always is, I always bring this guy on first. So we're going to bring him on second because he's doing some craziness in the background that I see. So first up is Austin Gordy.
What's up?
Wow. And
Keeping it straight.
next is Ray Snedeker. Okay, wow.
I'm dodging quicker than
Jonathan.
Jonathan Majors is going to dodge the authorities.
Oh,
He's the yang to my yin.
It's topical. It's topical.
That's a.
I'm sorry, Jonathan Majors. Don't come beat me up, please.
don't strangle him.
He's innocent until proven guilty.
Oh, yeah. That's that. Let me tell you this.
He won't be in the next Star Wars
All
movie.
of that. We're not gonna get into that. But all of that smells stink a whiff.
Yes,
That's all
it
I
does.
can say. That's
It
all
does.
I can say.
Did you see where they released the text messages the girlfriend sent?
Yes.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have taken your phone.
I said, I bid you adieu, dear sir.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
It's like who I wonder if it was that situation where the lawyer says, "Are you sure you want to do this? There's no way this looks good. No, it's going to clear me. It's going to clear my name."
Okay. I shouldn't have taken your phone.
Maybe people will learn respect in the interim as well.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway,
Huh.
he won't be in Creed 4.
No, he won't. He
Or
won't.
King
He died at
died.
the end of Creed 3.
I guess he's going to be a King variant with a new actor.
But you know,
John Boyega.
I know this is a Star Wars show, but I did watch the first Creed like last week. It was really good.
You did. Did you
Yes,
like
it is good, isn't it? Because me and my wife
Yeah.
just did a rewatch of the first two. We haven't the third one's coming out on digital tomorrow, so we'll just probably watch it then.
Okay.
Yeah,
But,
I think I told this to Austin a while back. I was worried going into it that it was going to be one of those cash in on an old IP, spin-off idea. You got the Rocky background, and you can use that. And, man, I loved it as a successor to Rocky. It felt genuine and like it had a lot of heart to it.
And I'm hearing that it's standing on the newest one. I hear it stands really well on its own 2 feet without even having to be a part of the Rocky franchise. So that's pretty cool. I can't wait to check it out.
Right. Okay, enough of that Rocky crap. Let's turn it over to Ray and let him introduce our review segment for The Mandalorian.
So in today's story hour, we are going to go over all the missing chapters from all the episodes that we have not been able to cover since the first one. So that being said,
we haven't talked about any of them since the first one, right? We just reviewed the first episode.
We just reviewed the first one, The Apostate. So next episode was chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore. Do y'all remember the kind of gist of that? I can kind of fill you in if y'all need a refresher.
Is this the one where he goes spelunking?
Yeah, well, this was, and what's funny is we were worried that like him going to Mandalore, we thought that was going to take up the whole season or something.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
He got there already. And then he got captured by a weird robot alien, and
that was creepy.
And he had to go get Bo-Katan to save him, which was great because she got the Darksaber back.
Yeah.
And,
did she keep it?
I'm assuming she still has it because she grabbed it, wielded it like a boss.
I thought she gave it back to him though.
She might have.
It could be in storage somewhere, like on the ship or somewhere. But I thought she still had it for some reason.
Technically, it would make sense for her to have it though, because if you think in technicalities, he was defeated and it was taken from him, and then she in return took it in battle against them. So technically, in her own mind, she could claim it.
That's true. I agree. Maybe that's something that will come up like a factor.
Okay, now I got to Google this.
But a cool little theme I thought of that episode, and I saw some other people having similar sentiments, was you kind of see Bo and Din kind of two sides of this spectrum, and they're kind of what happens, on Mandalore kind of brings them closer toward a middle. So, on one side, you've got Din under, in his kind of cultish Children of the Watch. They've been under the belief, very steadfast belief that Mandalore is uninhabitable. It's poisoned. No one can live there. It's dead. And he finds that kind of thought and belief was unfounded. So, little tiny bit of disillusionment there with, what you've been brought up to take as gospel. And then on the other side, you had Bo, who was kind of disillusioned from her royal status. Remember how when she first, when she was talking, I think with Grogu about her home, how she was kind of flippant toward it, about like the stuff with the mythosaurs, like, they said they saw it, all that stuff, and then she actually sees the mythosaur, and she's kind of shaken in that respect because she's the thing that she brought up and just assumed out of her own kind of assumptions, preconceptions, was just another myth. And she sees a living myth in front of her. So now she's kind of brought toward this, more belief,
she had an awakening, and it was almost like she had the cleansing in that water. Yeah, for sure.
So I really enjoyed the second episode.
No, it was, to me, it was I thought this season got off to a 1-2 punch. I mean, the first episode was great. Second episode was even bigger. Mm-hmm. But then I thought the third episode, which was what was the title? So with
the third one, we took a small break from our adventures with Din and Bo in the chapter 19, The Convert, which we got to spend some time with Dr. Pershing again, the guy who had Grogu, or who studied Grogu in first season, and then he was captured at the end of the second season when they were trying to capture Gideon. Mm-hmm. So we see you kind of see what life is like for
ex-Imperials,
or like, I guess, captured Imperials that want to atone, that are, that I guess want to be better, or defectors, I guess.
Well, I think it was a great insight to the post Return of the Jedi, the New Republic era, where you're dealing with just ex-Imperials, not people who were, easily converted or not part of the Empire, but different planet. These are like ex-Imperials, and I like how they focus on, well, what does happen to them? Like, how did the New Republic treat them afterwards if they willingly just stepped down? Even though it wasn't obviously they didn't have a choice, but it wasn't like they're part of the remnant or they're standing down. Yeah, I just thought it was a great focus where they go, well, this is how they're treating them currently, and you would see some of the language they would use. Remember, it was like they were it was like rehabilitation and amnesty and stuff like that.
One thing I liked about it was I want the travel biscuits.
You wanted the travel biscuits?
Isn't there like a I was going to say it for a second, but the travel biscuits. What I feel like there was a big push on that recently. Is there like a?
I saw a recipe. There's an official recipe Star Wars put out for the travel biscuits, which I'm going to try as soon as I can.
Okay.
Well, the ingredients I saw looked pretty, and it's not too overly complex. I think the only thing that looked a little like made me take a little pause was they wanted rose water.
Rose water.
Probably. Let me see. It says it's like flour, baking powder, ginger, salt, butter, cream cheese, sugar, lemon zest, and 2 teaspoons of rose water.
Yeah.
What is that?
Egg and confectioner's sugar.
I think it's like
they use it in some sweets and stuff like that. I know they use that in like.
I think there's like a special distillation method in it that I guess maybe gives it a little bit of a different property than just regular water. Maybe. Maybe it's like spring water on steroids.
Looks good though. They look tasty. They look like what do they call it? Lamb's bread?
Oh yeah, I saw limbas.
Yeah.
That'll what will that do? It will fill your
one bite will
stomach
fill a man's stomach.
Yeah, one bite will fill a man's stomach for a day or something like that, or 2 days. Not a hobby. But another cool Easter egg in the Convert was the mountain. Yeah, the mountain that that was featured in the episode.
Oh yeah, because it was in an episode of Spoiler. Never mind. Stop.
Oh, was it in an episode of Bad Batch?
Mm-hmm.
Briefly. Oh,
there was a chase scene, and they went right over the top of it.
Huh. Well, I just thought it was cool because it was because I think that's the same mountain from Heir to the Empire, but it's in a different context now because Heir to the Empire, when that was written, Coruscant wasn't completely a city planet at that stage in the lore. They hadn't turned it into just a city planet. It seemed like it was a huge city, and then I think the mountain was still one of the few things that was visible.
Yeah.
So there was that piece of nature still. So, it's a little different in this one where not the mountain itself was visible, just the peak of it. So, but I thought that was a cool piece of lore that they brought back from Legends.
That's part of that's part of what makes so far the Mandalorian's just been killing is all of the Easter eggs. The legends and Easter eggs they're bringing from the old canon and they're trying to make canon here. It's great.
What was those popsicle things called?
I don't know, but they look tasty.
They did.
I was like, bulbs. Can't believe that he lost his. Like, oh, what a waste.
And what were those things called? I got to look it up.
Well, while you're looking it up, there were some parallels too with. I know people if people were getting really almost offended because some people would compare that episode with Andor a little bit in its tone and the story content.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying no, this doesn't touch Andor. How dare you even try to compare it with Andor? Andor was so well written. I was like, shut up.
Yeah, but this is great. And I like the fact that it tied into the cloning, it's trying to tie into the Palpatine and Snoke cloning story that it basically shows how they do it.
Yeah. And not just that, you get parallels of, with Andor, there were kind of parallels in the almost indifferent, I guess, monotony in terms of the way things were working within the New Republic's security stuff. Pershing's job was one of those desk jobs, kind of like you saw in Andor.
We don't I don't know what to do.
And then also the big twist at the end, when the girl betrayed him, she was playing a long game on him, entrapping him into doing something that was going to get him in trouble. And the way they're just talking about using the mind flayer on him was just so flippant and unemotional, kind of like with the Empire with their stuff, the stuff they would do, which and all the other big reveal when she turned it up to do whatever that's going to do to him. I think did y'all feel that was a hint that maybe she's still loyal to Gideon?
Oh, I'm for sure. I know she's. That just sealed the deal. It showed that she's there for nefarious reasons, and I think it has to do with Gideon, basically that lifeline to Gideon.
Yeah,
and turning that mind flare up. That was dark stuff. And it gave me chills.
Yeah,
seeing that because that's horrible
for him.
Yeah. I think it's more like trying to cover up, not doing the wheel of Gideon, but more like trying to cover up maybe something.
Cover up what he was researching.
Yeah, I think
didn't want anybody else to know about.
Yeah, I think that they don't want the New Republic to have any
figure out what he was doing
into what the Emperor is actually trying to do, like bring himself back.
Yeah,
And then makes it even weirder was the end of this new episode,
which we'll get to.
We'll get to. I won't go into that yet.
Yeah. Well, we can. Actually, after we leave Pershing to his fate, we do get back to Din and Bo, and they do arrive on Mandalore, and or not Mandalore, but they come back from their mission to the Living Waters. The Living Waters. Come back to the little hideaway that the children of the Watch have been staying at, and he gives them his proof, and him, and not just Din, but Bo as well, are both welcomed back into the clan, and she kind of unintentionally gets back into the clan because she just happened to accidentally follow the rules. Ever since they arrived, she kept her helmet on. So she
Mhm.
got this. She got to do it.
It was weird. Like, why would she want? She is so lost, I guess.
I think. Well, if you remember at the very beginning of the episode, she had just seen the mythosaur, and she actually asks, she asked Den about it if he saw it, but he was unconscious. He didn't remember any of it.
Yeah.
So I think she's having this weird reverse crisis of faith, where things that she didn't believe in were suddenly, presented right in front of her. Almost like, I would say, like, if someone spent their whole life believing no matter what, there's no such thing as like an alien extraterrestrial, and then one just literally flies up in front of them in a UFO and just drops down. Like, what's going on in your brain at that point? Like, how do you kind of move on from that? So I think she's just having this kind of crisis in herself of what to do next. So I think right now she's just kind of, I guess, indulging with the more superstitious side of herself, and seeing what's going on, because this guild does, their clan symbol is the mythosaur,
and it's like home to her too. I mean, if she obviously was without a home, and now she's with too, all of a sudden she has a family, and it's like
belonging,
and so it's like, okay, I think I want this.
Yeah. Well, and also because we saw what she said at the beginning of the season when Den went and talked to her, and she said, all of her compatriots, they went off and became mercs. Basically, took the Liberator ship. I think that was the name of it, right? Gideon's ship.
Mm-hmm.
They took it, and they're just off doing merc business. So I think that isolation, now she's been dealing with. Now she sees something she hasn't had in a long time, which feels like something like belonging and a family.
Well, here's a question before we get too far in.
Yeah.
Have we already gotten to the part where she and Den are going back to her house in the TIE
Oh,
fighter?
yeah, that did happen in this episode. They attacked and blew up her home. That was in the same episode. It was at the start of it before we got the Pershing.
For no reason.
What do you mean?
That we know of. Right?
I thought
just randomly some TIE fighters appeared.
Are you talking about the? Well, see, that's my thing. Is I'm wondering if it has something to do with Gideon's, like he's got some tucked away fleet, or somebody's got some fleet somewhere. Because remember when they were flying after those TIE bombers, they got attacked by a swarm of interceptors.
Mm-hmm.
And those any TIE, I mean, they don't have hyperdrive, so there's a station somewhere or a big ship. So there's probably like a hidden fleet or something somewhere.
Yeah.
What's funny is
that sense.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, maybe it'll play up later in the season, but that's the only instance of stormtroopers we've seen, like anything resembling the Empire so far this season, was that
I got really giddy seeing that interceptor swarm. I love a TIE swarm. It just looks so beautiful.
Because everything else we've seen so far has just been our villains have been monsters and pirates basically so far this season. So and that was cool seeing those designs. I'm wondering how the rest is going to play out. But I did you have any more thoughts on that, Ashley?
No. I was just I was making sure that we didn't forget that, because it's going to come up later in something that in another episode that I talk about.
Okay. Okay. And then we go on next to the Foundling.
Mm-hmm.
This is chapter 20. And okay, so this was our big one, just Den and Bo back with the clan training, or doing training for Grogu. And I did kind of like that. It was funny because it almost made me think like they're almost like co-parenting him.
Yeah.
Because I was funny. Like he was being like the tough dad, and she was being like the kind of like encouraging mom. Like when she was like putting this little dart on him, was like, my dad was just the same way. So I did like that, speaking to her past of what, did her father ever appear in Clone Wars?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I didn't really see her stuff in the Clone Wars. I know Bo-Katan mainly through Rebels.
We haven't gotten to Bo-Katan's episodes. We've just been with Satine, her sister. so far. You know,
I'm pretty sure her dad was. I could be wrong. I was thinking her dad was in it.
I haven't seen him yet, but it could come up like later on when it brings in their mom and stuff like that. But right now, I'm it's just been the Duchess Satine sort of been the main representation for Mandalore in seasons 2 and 3. I think Bo-Katan comes in season near the end of season 4, I believe.
And Obi-Wan's just over there in the corner waiting to start macking on Satine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's a queen over there, and she ain't taken by my Padawan.
Right? Like he's always taking my prospects. But no, I think this episode was definitely. I mean, the training montages and stuff, like showing them actually training Grogu and stuff, was really cool. I like that they even kept. It was a little goofy, but I like that they kept it practical, where it was those flips, those somersaults he was doing. It was just basically like somebody holding a puppet going woo.
That's the one thing I didn't like, man, because it was
definitely a bit stuck out for sure.
The only thing that bothered me about that was the structure of the fight, because it seemed like it revolved around getting one hit at a time, like fencing. You know, once a hit's done, you're gonna stop, and get ready, prep for the next round. Yeah. The kid gets like 2 darts in, and all of a sudden, like Grogu is like, okay, I'm gonna flip the script. I'm gonna win now. And instead, like, he just flips around and he hits that kid 3 times in a row. It's like, little guy wins. We're not gonna do 2 more rounds to see if he can get you 2 more times. He gets them all in that one go. Well, and I was like,
the dart game is like playing Cup. Was that a Friends reference?
I can see that.
I think
just make up the rules as you go.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Okay, no, my bad.
It could be. It's very offensive in this generation, actually, as you may know.
Really?
Anything? I'm just joking. I was saying Friends is a very offensive to everybody, but no, I thought it was cute. But yeah, I agree. It stuck out like a sore thumb a little bit with the effects. But I thought it was a very touching way to like give the flashback and show how Grogu was saved and who actually did it.
Yeah,
Ahmad Best.
AKA
Save a Grogu.
He's what is the character's name? I don't think they actually say it. You find out through the credits, and if you watch subtitles, you'll see like his name when he speaks from off screen, and they actually name him. His name is Kelleram Beck, and that's spelled Beq, which is funny because his little cameo character in episode 2 had the same surname, I believe, because they made his cameo character's name like a take on his actual name, Ahmed Best, and I think his name was like Ahmi or Akmi Beck. So
I feel like it was like Ahmed or Akmi Beck, Akmi Beck, but it was the same. But yeah, they're supposed to be related. There is a relation.
I was going to say it's either that or just like it's the undercover Obi-Wan Kenobi thing where it's like he was underground trying to get to the spice game at the time,
right?
Investigating,
and he doesn't die. So at that point, we're going to see him again.
Yeah. And like what was cool, I really did like that they featured a Jedi who was just a boss wielding 2 lightsabers. Don't really sure. It feels like that style doesn't get featured too often because I know the choreography can be a little probably difficult. That's why Anakin in episode 2, the coolest thing was him getting 2 lightsabers, and then he barely has like 3 seconds before he loses it because they didn't want to deal with all the choreography involved with having a guy who has 2 lightsabers.
You pointed out a good little factoid there. I was talking about the Anakin fight there. Going into episode 3, have y'all been hearing about the there's just been a lot more chatter, people talking about all the deleted footage from the opening fight for episode 3.
Oh,
like the
yeah,
Dooku and
I did
Anakin,
see that.
or basically the extended, all of that sequence was supposed to be extended, but it was supposed to be to a point where when they finally face off, it wasn't going to be Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Dooku. It was just supposed to be Anakin and Dooku, and it was going to be an all-out brawl. Mm-hmm. And and watching the choreography online, it makes me mad because I want to see it. I
'Cause
want to see,
there's
because
a
it
cool-
looks good.
Yeah, because there was a cool little choreographed moment where where showing Dooku was trying to repeat what he did in episode 2. He was trying to
hmm
cut off his hands again, and Anakin like outmaneuvered it by basically like dropping the lightsaber from his hand before it can get taken, and basically just maneuver around the lightsaber and then grab his lightsaber again, and then that's when he kind of
then take his hands.
and then he reverses it and then does the same back to Dooku and take both of his hands.
Yeah. So I thought that was just, that would have been so cool.
Yeah.
God, it looked good. They had, oh no, there's a lot of that, but
Yeah.
I also want to see the 5 hour, however long it was. That rumor that there was a 4 or 5 hour cut of episode 1.
Oh, God.
Yeah, for sure.
But well, besides Grogu's past, then we also got another storyline with the Mandalorians, because it kind of furthered along Bo-Katan's story in terms of her time with Mandalorians. Because a kid, and I believe this was the kid from the beginning of the season, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked like the same helmet.
Yeah. So a kid gets snatched up by this. I forgot what the name of the creature was, but it's a big flying creature, dragon type creature almost. Swoops off, takes the kid. And apparently, this is kind of a thing that's been happening. They just kind of lose kids because they can't fly long enough to go after their jetpacks keep giving out. But Bo was smart enough to get to her ship when it happened. She had her ship nearby, so she took off and was able to keep tracking it. And then so they formed a hunting party to go back and rescue the kid. And then the surprise that turned out was that the kid is Paz Vizsla's kid. The guy who would, he'd be kind of at odds with Din, especially in his Boba Fett episodes. He tried to win the lightsaber or the dark saber in combat, and he lost. So
did you find it funny that they went like a whole day
hoping that the kid wouldn't get
hoping that the kid would not be eaten yet?
Like, boy, don't let him hit that digestive tract. Oh, just.
I mean,
I guess in their minds they were thinking, we can only do what we can, and if we're going to get the kid out alive, we're going to have to do it as smart as we can and just hope for the best. Because you remember, every time they did, every move that they made wasn't made just because wasn't made just because. It was there was a reasoning behind everything. They had to park a ways back because they couldn't get too close where it would notice, and then they know that would be instant death for the kid.
Yeah.
They couldn't use their jetpacks to get up there because they knew, if the bird, if they hear it, the kid's going to be dead again. And what was it? I think if they go in the dark, I guess they could also risk falling. I don't know why they didn't go during the night. I guess maybe the cameras just wanted to catch more light. But but the cool thing was, they saved the kid, and I actually thought Paz Vizsla was going to die trying to save his kid. I thought he was going to sacrifice himself. But they saved the kid, and they also took the baby birds. I guess they're going to have pets now. The babies of the mom that was killed, because they managed to kill the mom in a really cool little aerial fight. Which is really
epic
awesome.
mounts. That's what they're going to be called. They're going to be their epic mounts.
I was going to say somebody's going to be riding them before too long.
Like for the legendary concept art. So they did that, and Bo endears herself even more to the and I thought that was there's a cool little moment where during the battle she lost a shoulder pauldron, and it was one that has the her clan symbol, which is the night owl, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if she lost that, the armorer noticed it, and she was going to make her a new piece of armor, to being that she's kind of really proven herself to the clan. And then she actually asked for the mythosaur symbol, so she actually puts that on the pauldron and gives it to her. So Bo's got a new piece of armor. I think it's Beskar too, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
So there was that little cool piece. And was there any kind of teaser thing at the end of that episode? No, I think it just kind of ended with him talking about the mythosaur. I was
going to say, I don't remember.
Yeah, I was going to say it kind of stops there, but then in the next episode, end with a
because because she did say, like, I think they just had a little moment talking about the mythosaur, and she was asking. I think she asked the armor about, like, you know, about seeing the yeah. Have you ever seen the mythosaur? But she didn't say. I don't think she told her that she saw it yet. I think she was still wondering. I think she still had that kind of. Did I really see what I saw?
I thought she said I haven't seen one alive or something.
Maybe she might be talking about its skull.
Yeah,
she might have seen like a skull for it. Because I think the clan symbol is based around the skull itself, like not the mythosaur head, but the skull of it.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, we get to the most recent episode, the one that just came out Wednesday, chapter 21, The Pirate. And this was chock-a-block full of tons of stuff. Yes. So we go back to Navarro. I guess we could start there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes. Navarro, Gorian. Oh God, what's his name? I'm going to pull it back. I don't want to get it right. Gorian Shard. So Oscar the Grouch.
Just call him Swamp Thing.
Oscar the Grouch, Swamp Thing, Toxic Avenger.
Yeah. All three wrapped up. Yep.
Pizza the Hut.
Yeah. Cool alien. Yeah, a cool looking alien. He makes his play on Navarro and saying, you're gonna give me Navarro or I'm gonna blow you up, I guess.
I'm gonna blow you out of the stars, Gar,
Yeah. But yeah, and he forces Grief to kind of give up his assumption that they can be free of be free to be an independent world without any support from the Republic, because he's like, okay, I'm desperate enough now because I don't have a Mandalorian friend around right now. He's gone, so I'm gonna have to contact the Republic and hope that they'll help. So he sends out an SOS, and luckily, who is it? It's the guy we've seen since season 2. I know him from the Netflix series Kim's Convenience. I love this guy, but he plays Carson Teva. I think Teva,
something like that.
New Republic pilots, the guy with the beard. He gets it. He actually wants to help because he's a good guy, and he does good guy things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows don't want to help, which I love seeing. I love seeing Tim Meadows. That was fantastic.
Yes,
really, y'all love seeing that.
Yeah,
it took me out of it. It took me out of it for a minute.
I love
it. That's Tim Meadows. That's not.
I almost wanted to ruin it for Brittany a little bit because just recently I'd shown her the sketch of Jingleheimer Junction. The one with the kids, the UCK, and then Will Ferrell's like the F, and he's like, the whole joke about him wanting to maneuver to the front of the line.
Yeah,
it's like no, we're getting canceled. But I almost want to say it because I don't think she recognized him. New Republic's just they're and our friend who doomed poor little Pershing. She was present at them debating whether or not they should go help Navarro, and she's kind of on the side of saying no, we don't have resources to go help them. They'll be an example for she kind of put it like they'll just be an example for what can happen if you don't help the Republic. And I like that Carson just straight up calls her out. It's like, yeah, that's some Empire crap right there. Like,
so what's on Navarro that's so important?
What do you mean?
Obviously they're trying to get rid of Grief Karga, right? They're trying to get rid of those people there because that planet must be very important to the Empire.
No, there might be something there. I didn't really think about that. I just assumed that she was just being an Imperial.
No, I mean it's all like lining up because the rebel guy Carson whatever, he does tell the Mandalorian, he says something fishy's going on here.
Yeah, with
these pirates, this is not normal.
Oh yeah, he did say that
pirate stuff. So it's like the pirates combined with the Empire being there previously.
So do you think Gorian was hired by somebody?
Yeah. So something's going on. They're trying to clear people out. Get out of here. We don't want you here. We're far enough away from the New Republic's jurisdiction. We're doing stuff here that we don't want you to know about.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to think of because it's all the lava fields and stuff there. I'm just trying to think if there's any connection to some sort of, I don't know. There's some sort of
that was where they were also exploring.
Yeah,
I mean, with that is where they were studying Grogu initially. Too.
Yep.
You know, that's where you had to take him to.
And now the Force is kind of guiding. Okay, I'm setting up Grief Karga and his people here, but now I'm bringing in the Mandalorians to set up shop.
Yeah. Well, we're not exactly there yet because
okay, yeah.
Before we get there, before Carson even leaves, he does also kind of have a fun little moment with someone we were not expecting to see in live action.
Oh yeah.
At all, at least not right now. I wasn't expecting it. So yeah, he's just wondering what to do after he gets. This was right after he gets the message. I think he's wondering what to do, and out of nowhere, this this big tall figure kind of walks up beside him, and who is it? It's a Lasat, purple.
Yeah.
And then he opens his mouth, and you know who that is.
Yeah, I knew right when he started talking.
Sounding accent.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God,
it's Zeb. But yeah, it's Zeb. Zeb Aurelius from Rebels in live action. And
yeah, we finally see a live action Lasat.
And it looks great. And but he has like a little conversation with Carson about how Navarro's kind of, being kind of neglected, basically. Like, no one cares about going out in that direction. They don't want to put any resources for some reason.
Yeah.
But another thing, a cool little tidbit.
Perfect hiding place.
Yeah. A cool little tidbit about all right, just about seeing Zeb again is that we see that he's a full-on, looks like he's a full-on Republic pilot. He's wearing their uniform and he's got the blue version of the uniform, I believe, right?
Now, do you think he flies an X-wing or a Y-wing?
Does the color of your uniform differentiate?
Sometimes I feel like it does. I feel like a lot of times the orange jumpsuits sort of, I don't know, it just seems like they usually tend to go towards the X-wings and maybe the Y-wings. But yeah, I'm thinking he's either a Y-wing pilot just because of his size, or
maybe he pilots one of those things from Rogue One.
A U-wing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be like a big U-wing pilot or something like that.
That's my favorite ship out of the Alphabet Squad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that coupled along with the fact that when he speaks to Tim Meadows and the girl who the ex-Republic girl were there, or the ex-Empire girl, and they're just like, no, don't go, we're not going to help them. Tim Meadows is basically like, he's being the bureaucrat about it. I don't think he has any sinister intentions. He's just like, we really can't, put anything out there. We don't have the resources, because he came across like there's no malicious intent. He's just trying to do his job and just, do what he can.
He's just trying to make it home to dinner that night. And then you have this woman with sinister.
But he's got that little ex-Imperial that sounds rational and reasonable. He's got that little devil on his shoulder, kind of convincing him, you don't want to go out there. They'll be a good example for other colonies.
Here's something I'm just thinking out loud. Sorry. This Imperial girl, Imperial girl.
Find her name again. I forgot her name. The convert here, Imperial. Kane. Is that her name? Kane. Yeah.
Kane.
Elia Kane.
Did we see her in season 2 at all?
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, because when we saw her in the convert, there was a recap where they did show her.
She was on part of the crew.
She was. I think she was on one of the ships. Like, either she wasn't on the ship Pershing was on when he got captured. I think she was on one of Gideon's ships. I think we could look her up on Wikipedia real quick.
That's what I'm doing. Doing.
Just look up her first appearance.
Yeah. So I don't remember her being, or maybe maybe that was. Let's see, Mandalorian. Nah, she's been in 6 episodes.
So her first episode was The Siege. Yeah.
Yeah. Season 2. Okay.
Which one was the siege? Oh God, I'm trying to remember what that episode was about.
It shows.
That was the one where Kara, Grief, and Den were all like taking out that Empire facility that was on Navarro. That's what it was.
Okay, so this is okay.
So after Carson didn't get any success to being able to get Republic resources to go help Navarro, he decides, okay, I'm going to go get someone who I think actually would help, and that's going to be Din Djarin, which he manages to find. We wonder why, because my wife, when we were watching the episode, was like, how did he know where he was? And I was kind of thinking, like, yeah, that's a little interesting. Then we find out they had a little traitor in the midst. Do you remember who that traitor was? A little droid.
Oh,
droid who's been traveling around with
R5D4.
Yeah, R5D4. So that he was able to track him down to find them, and so he gives him he tells him what's going on, and Mando is able to convince the tribe. Mando and Bo, they're able to convince the whole clan to go on a liberation mission, I guess. What do you call it? Rescue or whatever. Gonna go fight this because there is a chance for them to get a home. Because he knows that they've already got he has a tract of land promised by Grief. If he wants to come there, so he exploits that, or just takes advantage of that knowledge as a bargaining chip to get them involved. And yeah, they all go for it. And I like the scene where they do the typical thing where the guy who's been at odds with the main protagonist he starts to speak up, and he's saying this, kind of giving them craps, like, he took his mask off or whatever. He kind of just makes it sound like it doesn't sound like a good idea. And then also he's like, and then he does the thing where it's like, no, he's we're going to follow them both. We're going to do this. And I knew he was going to do that because like he's in debt to both of them. He's, ever since the end of the last episode, he said it straight up, like, you two saved my kid. I'm grateful to you no matter what. I'm going to be behind you. So, he convinces them to all go. And then there's this awesome, amazing sequence, of them liberating the city. I mean, were there any highlights for y'all in that whole action sequence on the ground and in space or in the sky?
I'm sure people, because I think there's like some chatter about the Pirate King or whatever. I love that character. I mean, he just looks cool, and it's a breath of fresh air with Star Wars. It still feels like Star Wars, but we're not having to focus on like a heavy duty character. So it's just something fresh, and I just love that space battle. Get to see the Naboo starfighter in action. That was amazing. I mean, I had nothing but good stuff to say about it. I enjoyed it, and the cannons, and instead of having like the cannons on a pirate ship, they had the blaster cannon missile launcher things or whatever.
I was like having KOTOR flashbacks when I saw that when they were all appearing. I was like, oh no, they're gonna get terrorist. They're gonna get all this like glassed on the ground. But what did y'all think about the ground stuff? You got to see like a cool Mandalorian clan in action, they were like commandos. That was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I thought everything looked good. I mean, this show typically looks like really good. Occasionally you'll see something you're like, you should have worked on that a little more, like when
the Grogu flip.
Yeah, like the Grogu flip. anytime he's flipping around, or sometimes even when he walks, it kind of makes me But like when the Trandoshan and that other alien came out of the bar drinking, the pirates, and the Trandoshan just, turned the cup up. It looked kind of odd because, his mouth didn't move. It's just like, it's like, here's his mouth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looked fake. It's like, maybe you should have captured that from a different angle or something. If you can't make that look good.
Yeah.
So there's little things like that kind of make me. But for the most part, I mean, the show looks great. I mean, the ship battles, everything. I'm like, wow, this looks like Star Wars. Especially that X-wing flying when it came to when you start seeing it come into the atmosphere of the planet that the Mandalorians were on first.
Oh yeah,
and just flying around looking for Mando. Man, that looked gorgeous. I was like, wow, that looks really, really good.
And one cool thing I thought about this sequence, especially the ground stuff, I don't, if that was done in the volume, that one was one sequence where it really tricked me into thinking it could have really been done in a location where they just build a big town set, because sometimes when certain scenes are filmed in the volume, you can kind of feel it by how stuff is blocked. Like people will be a little bit more limited in where they're moving around. And that one, I don't know, maybe it was an on location thing, or if it was the volume, they did a really good job of either doing the blocking in a really effective way, or it felt like they were all in a big environment and moving around. Like the whole sequence when they were going toward the area and the Salacious B. Crumbs pointed out that there was an ambush ahead.
Yeah,
I like that was actually just a little it was like a little callback to how they can be kind of like little petty and sentient, because they got shot at earlier by those pirates. So their little way of getting back at them was like, yeah, those jerks are over there, get them.
I loved it.
And,
but I think the ending to the episode it was very
interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, what does this mean? Because basically you get to see.
Well, before we get to that, because I like that, because I want to speculate on that for a second. But they did win. They killed Gorian Shard, or his ship blew up. At least we don't know if he could be dead. Star Wars. If he got to an escape pod in time, maybe.
I was going to say they thought Aurra Sing was dead.
Yeah, but the one that we do know is alive is the other guy, Vane.
Yeah,
he bolted. Yeah, he bolted when he realized that they were losing, and so now that they were back, and Grief, greeted them with praise. Everybody was praising them because they saved their city. So they're getting this whole big tract of land, which the way he describes it makes it sound like it's probably a big area, because he said it was all the way from a
like
river,
the volcano river or something,
some river, all the way to a canyon, some canyon. Yeah. So it's probably a big area for them to live on.
And the fact that they welcomed them with open arms, they were just like, you're home now.
Yeah, and then the other thing before we get to the big interesting thing was what happens with Bo after this, because the armor does something like a little bit interesting, because we always had this season's been kind of flipping the script on our expectations of characters a little bit, and I've been liking that. So like with the armor, what they did was we thought that she would be hardened in her dogmaticness, thinking like this is the way, and this is the only way, what the Children of the Watch does. And no, she tells Bo, take your helmet off. And Bo kind of wonders if it's a trick, it's like, what? It's like, do you think I'm, I forgot how she phrases it. Or am I higher than you, or something like, something like that, but basically convinces her to take the helmet off. And I even wondered if it was going to be a trick, in order to exile her again.
That's what I thought. I thought she was going to be like, take it off, and then like, I told you not to take the helmet off.
Yeah. But no, it's a sincere moment where she's saying, no, you're going to be the one who walks two worlds. So basically she's going to be a point of unification, of bringing, and I like that she the armor at least makes it sound like, even if we don't believe the same, we're willing to coexist, or I'm willing to work on getting us to coexist, even if we don't have the same beliefs, because we need to be together, because we're so few already. The Mandalorians need to, unify again.
And see, this just to me is setting up showdown between Bo and the Mandalorian.
Really? I thought it was just setting up that she's going to be the new leader because I don't see Din. Nothing Din has done has made him seem like he wants to be
exactly
any kind of leader.
Exactly. He's on the hero's journey.
Yeah.
He's the reluctant. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
Right now, take the dark saber. I don't want.
Yeah. But she's also kind of on one of those other like alternate heroes journeys, which is the royalty, the young royalty that lost their title and is now earning their way to the title again. So it's that story of like when they get to the title, they will be the true leader that they were supposed to be to begin with. You'll have taken the trials you need to, better yourself as a person.
Yeah, but I mean, the show's called The Mandalorian.
I mean, yeah, but that can be more than one thing, though. I mean, it's been
I guess it could, but I mean, he's the main guy. Mm-hmm. I think that all the and there's been little hints all throughout the since the beginning. The one true leader is the one that rides the beast or whatever. Mm-hmm. I just
maybe they're just setting up Bowden.
Bowden,
or I could call him Dinbo.
Dinbo.
I like Dinbo more now. Okay, I'm gonna call him Dinbo.
And two, I mean, they found out the Mandalore is safe again. Why not go back?
I mean, at least in the context of where they are currently, it would probably take time to rebuild. They probably want a temporary home base to work from, or at least to. Yeah, but be a central hub to start from.
But what doesn't make sense to me is Mandalore is, I mean, they're going to have to start over. They're going to have to build everything they need on Navarro. Mm-hmm. Why not just do that on Mandalore?
Well, there was that scene at the end, or not the end, but in that scene with Bo and the armor, where she was talking about the forge and the meaning it has. So, and I guess because I think the symbolicness was, I think she's kind of going about saying, like, if I remember correctly, once she kind of saying, it's not so much where something is, as long as it's what you're doing with it. I think
maybe
or some along the home is where we are, not where not where symbols are.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. We still got 3 more episodes.
Oh, and this thing ain't ended anytime soon. So
yeah, but so Bo's been kind of anointed this, like, I guess, the unifier between Mandalorian clans by the armorer, and that's kind of where we leave that story off at the moment. And then we get back to Carson, who, as Austin mentioned, he was out in his X-wing, and what does he find, Austin?
Finds a Lambda class shuttle that somehow looks like it was attacked and left behind.
Mm-hmm.
And very chilling. I mean, when I saw that, I'm like, oh man, this isn't good. Sends a little probe, which I thought was really cool. I like the probe that comes off.
It's a little scope. It's like, that does more than just what it does.
And he gets I thought that was all of this sequence was really cool. As an X-wing pilot, it's almost making me want a Rogue Squadron series. But anyway, he's launches the probe and going through it, and you see basically the crew has been killed, but Gideon's body's not there, so he's obviously been taken. And they find some Beskar armor in the wall, like kind of, I guess, lodged in there.
I think it's like Beskar shrapnel or something like that.
Something like that. It's like pieces of Beskar.
Yeah,
and so it's pointing to maybe some sort of a Mandalorian interference, like some.
Yeah, the Mandalorians broke him out.
Or could it be a feint here?
It could be
where it's planted, so it puts the New Republic on the path of the Mandalorians.
Hey, remind me, where did the Beskar come from that the guy hired Mando originally for? Where did he get that Beskar?
I think it was from Mandalore, wasn't it?
Was it?
Well, all of
it came from Mandalore.
Spoils of the
and they just melt it down into coins or whatever.
Yeah, spoils of the aftermath of the Night of 1,000 Tears.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Spoils of war. but yeah, so here's my idea. This actually just came up because we were left with the tidbit of Bo's other compatriots. They are roaming, space with a pretty big ship, an imperial ship. So it wouldn't be out of it could be interesting if that's what Axe Woves, and I don't know if what's her name did anything for season 3. I think I heard the girl who plays Casca. I don't think she did any filming, but I think I heard the guy who plays Axe Wolves has done some stuff for the new season. So maybe he had a group that went and took Gideon for revenge or exploitation.
That, or to me, it just seems like it's kind of like how the Emperor plays everybody, right?
Oh, so to move it away from Imperials doing it and make you think that. Yeah. Don't think about Imperials.
Yeah,
Imperials did not do this.
It's like, hey, it all goes back to Navarro. If we can't get rid of them, let's get the New Republic to get rid of them for us. Yeah. Like there's always a plan B, C, D, E, F, G if this doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It all. I don't want to point it to the Emperor, but I think there's probably going to be a concerted effort to move from Return of the Jedi to Rise of Skywalker, where nobody, the Emperor's not mentioned anymore until you get to the Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker. I think they're going to try to start shoehorning him in, so it's not just you're hit in the face with it in the third movie,
or maybe we're hit with like a young version of Smoke, or not Smoke.
Yeah,
Smoke.
I mean, like all Smoke. Of this is
we see the creation of
plan.
Smoke,
yeah,
or something like that. I love what Filoni and Favreau have done so far. Even even what other perceived missteps like the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah. I've enjoyed it all. And, I've even enjoyed it. I enjoyed Andor. So I this is a ride. I got my feet taped to the bicycle on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna keep riding it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with it. I've enjoyed all of it. So
yeah,
the Bad Batch.
Yeah, which I need to catch up on. But we also have Ahsoka coming summer, maybe
relatively soon. Yeah.
I'm hoping summer.
I can't wait for. That's going to be I can't wait.
Yeah. So we are caught up now,
and we're right at that hour mark.
Perfect time.
So I guess we will. I guess we'll wrap it up for this week's show.
Well, do we have any hauls? Star Wars?
Oh yeah, I always forget the hauls. Anybody got any Star Wars hauls?
I have a Star Wars adjacent haul.
I was going to say I did get the new Star Wars book, Jedi Battle Scars.
Oh yeah, I got that too. Yeah,
I finished. Yeah, I finished it. I mean, it's a quick read because it's a small book. Really good. I was impressed. This author, I highly recommend her. She's a new one into the universe. I mean, I think she's done a few things, but this is her first book.
What's her name?
And Sam Maggs. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this is a really well written story. If you love the game, it's got every element of the first game, and there's some Easter eggs in here and just some. I mean, it's really a love letter to the game and plays like a good sequel to that. And I feel like it takes place not long after the first game, because I think it was a 5-year gap from the first game to the second.
Yeah, 5 years.
So this is probably. I don't even know if this is halfway through, but maybe at least maybe a year in or something like this. They're still pretty fresh, but they're a family. And then you see kind of like their, when that family gets put to the test, and it involves the fifth brother.
Ooh.
He comes in. Yeah. Some pretty awesome fight sequences with this guy. I'm not going to spoil anything, but they do fight and it's fun. It's great. So everybody gets a fair shake in this book. It's really good. I really recommend it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to it after I finish my current book.
It reads almost like when you read it, you're like, this could have been a game. They could have made some sequel game. It just feels like it was almost an unused idea, because it feels just like a sequel to the first game. It's really cool.
I cannot wait. Oh, what I got was not exactly Star Wars, but like I said, Star Wars adjacent. I got the new Indiana Jones from not the Black Series, but I think they call this the Adventure Series.
Sweet.
So this is really good. I mean, at least in my opinion, a really good face sculpt.
Yeah, the pixelation, though we can't hardly see it.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, it looked better. I mean, you showed it to us before, and it looked really good.
Can you see it a little bit better?
Yeah, it's still kind of pixely.
My dang stream.
I'm watching a '90s commercial.
Compression.
Okay. Taco Bell.
But yeah, great figure. Yeah, awesome. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I think I'm gonna grab that figure for sure.
All right. That's it for this week. I don't have a haul, so may the force be with you, and we will see you 2 weeks from tonight.
So it will be right before the finale, the episode before the finale.
That's right. And we'll be back to talk all about it.
Ooh.
I'm sure we'll be.
May the force be with you.
Later
Peace.
days.
Maybe.